93 ESPN contributor. That is Nick Kosko. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Hey, PT, what's going on, man?
I'm doing well, buddy, and I know that, yes, you guys wish you were playoff bound. It wasn't in the cards, the fates didn't work out quite that way for you guys to get in, but tell me, how would you sum up year one? And for people that would say, like, oh, well, they're not going to make the playoffs, so why should I go see the final game of the season? There's a big reason why you should go.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look back at the season, there was a lot, there was missed opportunities for these guys on the field, but they put on an exciting product all season long. They were very competitive, obviously. When you look at the Blackjacks, you have a mix of veterans in the league, guys like Randy Hippard, Lamar Brown, and then on defense you had LJ Action Jackson, Antron Dell, Monte Lewis. I mean, guys like that. I mean, these guys have been to the Arena Bowl before. I mean, a handful of these guys have been to the Arena Bowl 2 years in a row, but they were able to stay with each other in Tampa and Baltimore the past 2 seasons. But we also had a mix of a lot of rookies and young guys who had to get acclimated to the top tier product of indoor football. But when you put that all together, and sometimes you just can't get it done. But it was a pretty exciting season for everybody. And then obviously, you look at a couple weeks ago when they were on the road against Washington, putting up 70 points. I mean, you could see the talent on this team, and for the 7,000 plus that came after the game 2 weeks ago against Philadelphia at Boardwalk Hall. And I know that game ended in a heartbreaking loss, 50-45, but you saw the excitement. I mean, the crowd was absolutely unbelievable. And if you can get anything close to that for tomorrow's game at 4:00, to me that means it's a success. It's been a good crowd all year, but for the fans that are excited about this team, and for fans who still haven't checked them out, come out and check them out, because they're going to be back next year, and probably even I would say even better next year, because as long as you bring a majority of the core guys back, obviously free agency plays a factor, but this is a team that can stay here for a long time and be very competitive, and particularly with the core group of guys they have.
Nick Kosko's with us talking AC Blackjacks. I agree with you. That crowd was, if it wasn't the biggest, it was certainly the most exciting, with a dramatic finish that went down to the wire. I think that's exactly what AC is looking for their home game, certainly as the league moves forward. Now, it's been an interesting season for signal callers with Atlantic City. Starter Randy Hippard went down in week 8. He's out for the rest of the season. Then Warren Smith Jr., the gym teacher turned quarterback, did a tremendous job, and then he got hurt. So there's actually going to be a new quarterback, the third quarterback of the season. Tell us who it is and what you know about him.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, of course, because you look at the quarterback situation. Warren Smith just went. He got surgery yesterday, so he's all good. He posted on social media. He's all good to go. He'll be ready to be back the next season. But he filled in valiantly for Randy Hippard, and then that's the reason why the Blackjacks signed him. Is they, before Randy Hippard kind of fell in their lap in free agency, they were saying, all right, we can win with Warren Smith, so let's do it. And they bring in Randy Hippard, and then all of a sudden you have a former MVP quarterback and a really talented guy behind him. So to speak, maybe your Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, so to speak, for the Blackjacks. But they're both down, and I'd say if this was a playoff situation for the Blackjacks, you'd probably see Randy suit up today. But due to the injuries, and he's not fully 100%, and since this game is only the last game of the season and the playoffs draft reached, that they decided to put him on IR. So they brought in 2 new guys, Dennis Havrilla and E.J. Nemeth. To me, it looks like Dennis Havrilla is going to start. It's still up in the air because they're still going back and forth. But you'll probably see Dennis start on tomorrow's game. And these are guys who have previous Arena League experience. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of just have to throw something at the wall and hopefully something sticks for the final week of the season. So I would say that Dennis is a really mobile quarterback. He's a little bit smaller, but he's a mobile quarterback, kind of like Warren Smith. Both these guys can gun it for sure. So no matter who plays tomorrow, if you see Dennis go in there, he can sling it. He can move around the pocket a little bit, take off and run if he has to. And EJ, a bit of an unorthodox quarterback drop for sure, but he's a big dude, strong dude. He can gun it as well, and he's one of those guys who's very hard to take down. So I mean, head coach Ron James and offensive coordinator Shane Stafford have done a great job this weekend. These guys acclimated basically on the fly and getting him ready for the final week of the season. So I would expect to see Dennis in there, but no matter who you see in there, they're going to tailor the game plan for both these guys. And, of course, they have the veterans and the experienced guys in the offense, particularly the Blackjacks wide receiver core. They can almost get those guys acclimated even faster because of the talent. And then obviously playing at home always helps. So it'll still be an exciting game, of course, but it is a little weird knowing that you're on your third quarterback and it's already the final week of the season.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting to point out. Now, the quarterback may be up in the air, but in the notes, Jim Gordon, the PR guy for the Blackjacks, put on that some of the injured players are hoping to get back. Are some of those players at receiver? Because that's where 3 of the guys that were on injured reserve were Ings, Keys, and Laughinghouse, all 3 receivers. Are any of those guys coming back or close to coming back?
Kendrick Ings is out for the season. He is done. Keys actually made that switch to Jack linebacker a couple weeks ago, but he's going to be done. He'll be out. And Laughinghouse has been a guy who's been on IR all year. But
sounds like a no.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a no. But Laughinghouse is valuable all year. He's been basically almost like an extra coach on the scout team for the guys. So whenever the defense gets their turn in practice, the starters, Laughinghouse is there helping organize the scout offense. So he's been a very valuable piece of the team this year, despite the fact that he's unfortunately haven't been able to suit up. As he's a guy that they were really looking forward to having in that wide receiver course. So no, the receivers you have, your Lamar Browns, your Antoine Grants, Rashad Still, and you'll probably see a little bit more of Rashad Carter this week as well, getting those guys going. And then of course, the offensive line. Looking good right now, and they actually did just reactivate Leonardo Bates to the offensive line. He's a very valuable piece. They missed a couple weeks ago. He's been banged up, so you'll have about 5 active linemen. I think you'll see Bates play, so you'll see obviously Ray McNeil, Glenn Hazley, and Fred Ruffin, Leonardo Bates in that offensive line for the Blackjacks. So definitely that beef up the protection this week.
Now, Nick, you're allowed to, we have sports gambling now in Atlantic City. You're allowed to bet on these games, right? I mean, Baltimore's already qualified for the playoffs. Many of their starters could be sitting out because they don't want to injure any of these guys. I mean, this almost seems as close to a stone-cold lead pipe lock as you could get.
I really can't comment on that. I might get let go in trouble. I might have to go to, Iowa next year or something along those lines if they find out I've been betting. No, I'm just kidding. I can't go that far with the betting, but sports betting for this league has been great because you have a lot of stuff on DraftKings. You can do the live betting, you can do the fantasy football. It's been great for the league, and I think once more leagues, no matter what sport around the country, adapt to that, which pretty much they do, I should say. But for the Arena Football League, as it continues to grow again. The fact that they have this and more that sports betting is legalized elsewhere, it's really going to help teams. And I can tell you right now, it's helped out Atlantic City knowing that you have legal sports betting in New Jersey, and obviously you're in basically the second biggest hub for sports betting in the country, in Atlantic City, compared to Las Vegas. But New Jersey had so much money put into sports betting this year, and it's helped out the league. It's certainly helped out Atlantic City, and it also helps out if you can walk into that. Ocean Casino and go into that big William Hill Sportsbook. All of a sudden, there's Arena Football right there on the TV. So I gotta say, it's really it's brought a lot of attention to the league, and it's only gonna help them moving forward.
Nick Kosko with us, the play-by-play voice. I think Atlantic City Blackjacks, we don't want to send you out to the Iowa Barnstormers anytime soon. I don't know if they're still – that was Kurt Warner's team when he went from the Hy-Vee to the Barnstormers.
No, they do still play. They're in one of the other leagues, but I don't think they're coming back to the Arena Football League anytime soon until the expansion really goes out west.
Well, I found this interesting, Nick. So all the players are usually under one-year contracts. It's a year-to-year kind of situation. So what's been the scuttlebutt that you've heard from guys? Because you did kind of mention it there that the league's hoping to expand either 2 or 4 more teams coming in, so a lot of fresh starts. And with that said, you think, if they're going to add these new teams, does that mean they're going to leave Atlantic City and go to some of these new teams? What have you kind of picked up from being around this squad about this team and whether they, the guys want to come back and be with Ron James again and take another run?
Well, as far as I can tell, as long as Coach James is in Atlantic City, a lot of these guys are going to stay. A lot of these guys came to Atlantic City to play for Coach James, and a handful of these guys have really embraced Atlantic City. And everyone I talk to in that locker room, they embrace each other. They love each other. This is one of the I would say, best teams in terms of team chemistry I've ever seen, at least personally in my short career so far. But just talking to these guys, I mean, that's all they say too. That they haven't had much better team chemistry than they've had here in Atlantic City, despite the injuries and the adversity this year. These guys continue to fight. They love that. They do play for each other. They love each other. And of course, again, if you bring back that core group, you're going to have that mix of veterans and the rookies this year. But those rookies are only going to get better. And one I can name right off the bat, Antoine Grant, wide receiver. I mean, he's only going to get better. I mean, for all we know, he could get called up to the NFL or one of the other leagues, XFL, CFL, and have an opportunity out there. But you look at the defensive side, too. You got Keontae Northington is back there, too. He's a rookie defensive back. I mean, he's only going to get better. So, these guys are only going to get better in this league, but they love playing with each other. It's been an absolute blast all season long. This past week of practice, everyone's having fun. They're all loose, ready to go for Sunday. And I would say the majority are going to return despite the expansion. I don't know where they're going to expand yet. I've heard a couple different places. I would say within the Northeast. You're not going to see too far west or too far south, but I would say despite the expansion, I think most of these core group of guys will be back. And as long as you have that core, you're going to be competitive. And then anything can happen next year. I would say you're going to see a very highly competitive Atlantic City Blackjacks team next year ready to win a championship in 2020.
You wouldn't think Kentucky and football go hand in hand, but the two guys you mentioned are both played for colleges in Kentucky. Western Kentucky for Grant and Eastern Kentucky for Northington. So, must be something down in Kentucky for the football.
I guess so. And you never know. The Arena Football League is always looking for teams to come back that were in the league 10 years ago, looking for new areas to go for expansion. So, just a hypothetical, Nashville had a team over a decade ago, the Nashville Cats. They were very popular. That was a great arena football city. So who knows? Maybe you can see them back. Obviously, Louisville is one of those small, I would say smaller markets, but another market that's perfect for arena football, such as like in Albany. You know what I mean, for this year. So, but we'll see if they expand to the bigger markets again, where they have NFL franchises, or they have just these little bit smaller markets that can contain arena football. That people are going to be rabid about it.
Nick, we appreciate you coming on with us. We're up against the hard break, but tomorrow, 4 o'clock is kickoff, 3:30 pregame, right? Hope to fill that hall again. We're doing our part trying to give away some tickets to the Blackjacks. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you coming on with me, and hopefully we'll recap the season next week. Okay, buddy?